Hey everybody, how are you guys doing today? This is Jim from the Pain PT and hope everybody's doing well. And today we're going to check in and see how are you communicating to yourself? How are you communicating to yourself? And before we talk about that today, I'm just going to remind you if you like the video, please give it a like. Helps the channel to grow. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do, and you'll be alerted when new videos drop. I also offer individual one-to-one coaching as well as group coaching sessions. And you can learn more about those at my website, thepainpt.com. So, how are you communicating to yourself? How are you communicating to yourself? This is really important. This is a big piece, I think, of the recovery process is our ability to communicate to ourselves. And it's not just communication, but it's what we're intending, what we're saying, what we're meaning. How are we approaching ourselves? Okay, so the first thing we want to think about here before we communicate anything is to recognize in ourselves, become more aware of our own communication. Because a lot of times, what we're going to see in our own heads and our own minds is a lot of negative communication, negative self talk, possibly beating ourselves up, putting pressure on ourselves, putting ourselves down, demanding of ourselves, berating of ourselves. A lot of times the self talk can be quite negative, and we're communicating many times those type of messages. Also, we're communicating more messages of danger and threat. And I talk a lot about that word threat is written a lot in the research around chronic pain and other chronic conditions in the bodies. And when the brain feels threatened, that's when it reacts. Okay. And when your brain reacts with these somatic sensations and with these negative thoughts and negative emotions, we want to step in and respond. We want to respond. And this is your communication, how you're talking to yourself. What are you telling yourself? How are you responding to the sensations? How are you responding to negative thoughts that pop in your mind or negative emotions that pop in your body, negative feelings? How are you responding? How are you communicating? And this is really important because this goes a long way to teaching your brain the opposite of threat and danger, which is what? Safety and security. We're trying to teach internal safety and build a secure attachment to ourselves. We'll talk more about that another day. But in order to build safety internally in our system and secure attachment to ourselves, we need to be the one who is doing it. Okay. We need to be the one. We are the one. Okay. We cannot rely upon other people, which can be helpful to have another partner or supportive people in our lives who can offer us words of safety and reassurance, just like myself, or offer a secure attachment where you feel more comfortable, relaxed, safe in your own body, in your own mind. Now, putting that aside, we want to come back to you. You can offer this. You can be, I call it the inner parent or the inner teacher, right? Or the first responder in yourself. So you are the one who's actually responding. You are the one who is teaching your limbic brain. You are the one who is parenting and offering words of safety and reassurance and reminding and self-compassion, just like a good parent would, right? And offering some security, some secure attachment for that limbic brain of yours. And our limbic brains, they act up, they react, and they kick out these somatic sensations in the body. Remember, these are not physical symptoms, they're somatic sensations generated by the brain and autonomic nervous system. Absolutely, you can have physical symptoms from physical causes, but these are not them, the symptoms we're speaking of. So a lot of these are born out of, like I mentioned many times, upbringings that were not secure, insecure attachment, trauma, parents who are not there for us, neglect, households where we weren't getting our needs met, and other stresses in our life that have come subsequently can put our brain into that state of fight, flight, freeze, put it into a state of higher perception of threat and danger. And again, that's the main thing we are trying to bring down is this brain's perception of threat and danger. And that could be in the world, that could be in the sensations you feel, that could be literally in anything, it could be in a thought running through your mind. So, how you respond to that with your communication is vitally important. So, that question comes to you now. How are you responding? How are you communicating to yourself? Are you communicating more messages of danger or threat? Are you agreeing with the sensations, agreeing with the negative thoughts, negative feelings? Are you piling on more? Are you creating more activation in that limbic brain in a negative way? Or are you starting to step in and become that reassuring inner parent, that teacher that reminds the brain of what's happening, offering, again, lots of self-compassion, looking at the evidence of what this is, and again, letting the brain know that, okay? Being able to calm down instead of getting worked up, right? These are all ways to communicate messages of safety. These are ways to respond when your limbic brain reacts. So your communication comes from you. It's coming from another part of your brain. It's coming from the adult prefrontal region of the brain. That's the parental brain, again, the executive mind that we're trying to build some cortical strength in, that you have a greater and greater capacity to communicate messages of safety, reassurance, and reminding, and have ability to downshift maybe, or an ability to respond in a situation where normally you might avoid. You can make decisions. Okay, these are all forms of you being able to communicate with your brain when it's reacting, when your body's reacting to because of the brain. So how are you communicating to yourself? Let that sink in and have that be a guiding light for you each day. How are you responding? Okay, that's the communication. Are you responding from the wise, gentle, reassuring parent? Or are you agreeing with that inner child that's scared and worried and throwing a tantrum or super upset or not believing they can handle it with what's going on? So let's get this communication going, everybody. Let's improve the communication. This is a practice that you become an inner parent to your inner child. You become a teacher so you can teach that brain, that limbic brain, something different. And it starts with how you respond. That's a famous saying, right? Stress is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. So we really have to step up our communication, everybody, to ourselves. The self-talk communication, very important. And a lot of times when people start doing this in the beginning, it doesn't come naturally, easily. It may not have a massive effect right away or have any effect. But the more you practice using it, the more you believe in it, the more you can learn to communicate messages of safety and reassurance and believe those things and act as that inner guiding parent or teacher or first responder, the more you're going to see it starts to have an effect. And what's happening here is literally your cortical brain is communicating now to your limbic brain. It's sending messages, real messages that are getting through, that are having a regulatory effect or a calming effect on your brain, settling effect, right? We're moving towards safety and security. Safety internally inside our brain, and knowing we can be secure. We have a secure attachment to ourselves. And I want you all to offer that secure attachment to your own self as much as you can, as well as reassuring that self that you're safe. Things you're doing are also safe, and that you can start to work with what's going on in a different way. than what the instinctive brain wants to do, the reactive brain, or the limbic brain wants to do. So I hope that makes sense, everybody. There's lots of ways you can communicate words or intentions of safety and reassurance and reminding. That's up to you to use the exact words you want. But in general, the message here is that yes, we can communicate to our own brains. We need to, and we need to step in and respond when that limbic brain reacts. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, if you're looking for support, help, one-to-one guidance, an assessment, coaching, group coaching support, which I offer once a week, and it will be changing to 3 times a week in February here, 2025. So there'll be more options for all of you. Be on the lookout for that in January. So you got options for help. If you need it, go to thepainpt.com. And I wish you all a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.